One of my favorite indicators for the Nasdaq is the moving average exponential ribbon. You can see that here in this drawing. This ribbon right here is the indicator I'm talking about. You can see the nice entry points. The trend is up. You know, it dips below this. The trend is not so strong here. I'm talking about when the exponential ribbon starts to expand, and it's expanding in a strong way, and then it just dips. Here is one, but the ribbon is actually collapsing here. So you see an entry point here, the ribbon collapse. This would be probably an entry you would take because the ribbons are strong. You take that entry, but you can see some incredible entry prices. Let's scroll back and look at some more. You see some entry prices here on this. Right there. That one's close. Exponential ribbon got kind of slippery, and then here you could have seen some potential shorts, but it didn't trade above. So the exponential ribbon is down. You're looking for rallies above this line right here, which you didn't see on that day. But I'm going to show you some days where it did have some good short trades. Let's scroll back some more. Here's a strong exponential ribbon, and here is a choppy time of day when there's news events, so you don't trade that. Here is some strong entry points on this exponential ribbon as well. Right there, almost there, really strong trades. You can almost scalp it in here, but the exponential ribbon has collapsed. It's not expanded like this. So working on quantifying this for a strategy, it's hard to quantify some of the stuff you see in indicators. Here is the exponential ribbon. It's starting to trend down here. Don't get confused when you look at an indicator and look forward and see how strong the ribbon is here. You have to determine how strong the ribbon was coming into this point. It's expanded down. It's completely expanded down, so you could maybe take in that trade. Now it's strong, and it quickly comes up here. Maybe you take that trade. And let's continue to scroll back. There's some really strong signals. Working on trading systems for this. So you see this one, the trading system didn't quite do what I wanted to do, but it did capture this trade. You see some really good entry points on the short side, moving average exponential ribbon right here. And you continue to scroll back, and didn't do as well here. You know, the trend is up here. The exponential ribbon trend is up, so you wouldn't necessarily short those unless you have a way of defining when the ribbon is overbought or oversold. If you have a counter trend method for the exponential ribbon. And here's I really like this entry point. The exponential ribbon is really strong, really comes close. It doesn't quite make that entry, but after that it's kind of a slow trend up, not a lot on the upside after that. Well, a small move on the charts in the Nasdaq can be pretty big. So that's the exponential ribbon. Play with it. You can right-click Studies, Edit Studies, and it's moving average exponential ribbon. It comes with TradeStation. So you just insert that in there. Default parameters. You'll see what I'm talking about, and you know, maybe you can develop a system on it. That's something I'm working on, something I'm looking at. I typically use patterns more than indicators, but I really like the way this one capture some of these moves in the Nasdaq on retracement. So what I do have in the Nasdaq is a custom portfolio. So I customized the portfolio calculator and have my favorite 14 Nasdaq strategies, fast money market, and in the last, I guess since 2016, the last five or so years, this has only made about a $25,000 drawdown, which we're talking 14 Nasdaq strategies. So not to make light of the capital required, if you're going to trade 14 Nasdaq strategies, you're going to have to expect at least a $25,000 to $30,000 drawdown, and you want to wait for a drawdown. You see how volatile this has been in here? A lot of up and down, but it did really well in 2020. We're putting together, keep in mind some of our existing Nasdaq strategies, some of the new strategies that we came out with in 2020. At the end of 2020, I had some new Nasdaq strategies, and I'm applying it to this portfolio. If you just want to, if you're just really attracted to the Nasdaq, really just want to trade the Nasdaq, and love what the Nasdaq has to offer, you're going to get wild swings up and down. There's a lot of price movement in the Nasdaq, a lot of potential. This is actually updated to the 5th, and so for 14 Nasdaq strategies, I'll show you the systems we'll trade in a minute, but it was since 2018 the new levels of volatility. And if you're not afraid of volatility, you want to step in and take a aggressive setup like this. You could trade the micros as well, and risk about 1/10. Wait for a drawdown to start. It's right at equity peaks now. It was up this week alone 28K. Nasdaq had a huge trendy week, and so you'd wait for a little bit of a chop. And so I came out with this on January the 21st. This combination of existing and new strategies was discovered on January the 21st, and now it's up 28K. In February, it was up 349K, 172, 139, 349. Hypothetically, the last 3 years, and then it was up 11K in January, and then in February, the first week of the first month, short record, out of sample, 28K. We are 5 weeks into the year, so roughly 10% of the year is over. So 5%, or 10% of the year. So if you multiply these results by 10, you're pacing 400K on the year, which is, you can't expect it. You may or may not do that. You could, past performance is not indicative of future results. So we could get some different results this year going forward. But it's pacing. There's no new strategies since the end of December. So this is working with strategies developed through the end of December, putting in the top Nasdaq strategies. And so short 5-week record, out of sample 40K, and 10 weeks. If you multiply that times 10, because we're 1/10 of the way through the year, it's 400K. But that's the absolute optimistic viewpoint. You want to consider the risk. You could start in a drawdown and you could go straight to a worst case drawdown. And historically, these strategies look like this because we're working with strategies that capture the current mode of the market. And the Nasdaq that's trading now is different than the Nasdaq that was trading back here in 2011, 2012, 2013, 14, 15. So it's a different Nasdaq now. And if it were to trade like that Nasdaq, it might do something like this. Or if volatility increases, it could do something even much more different. It could be much wider drawdowns. It could still perform, but with much wider drawdowns. So that is a way to trade the Nasdaq along with this potential exponential moving ribbon setup that we're working on.